This is a relatively recent video that popped up on my feed. You know, this is definitely my lane. I love talking about this collaboration video. Why fighting games don't reward skill anymore? Between Yoga Flame, this is a match uploader from Dragon Ball, which apparently I can't fucking open, but Street Fighter, highlights, and a faceless channel that says former gaming exec making videos that help you better understand the money in games and anime. Very, 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 very curious, considering they're talking about this thing. You might want to know why I'm so passionate about it, why I talk about this so much, especially when other people talk about it. And it's because that is basically my fighting game career. I basically have played exclusively games that people said, this is the end of fighting games, this is a baby game. Then revisions happened, people learn how to play the game, and then now there are games that are celebrated as being real hardcore games for real hardcore gamers. I played pretty much all of them. Persona, Blaze Blue, Melty, but even Exerd was not totally spared from this, even though people kind of clowned them once they patched the first version. DBFZ, especially because I'm also there from the beginning of these games very often, so like I'm literally there and I'm watching people who were not there say things about these games. I was like, excuse me?
Fighting games don't reward skill anymore. You've heard that line before, right? It's been parroted for at least the last 5 to maybe 15 years.
More? No, 15 is good. 15 is a good number.
Every time a new mechanic drops, every time the system saves someone who should have died. Drive Rush, Drive Impact, Tekken's Heat Smash, Mortal Kombat's Fatal Blow. Different franchises, same complaint. When I say skill, I mean decision clarity, correct choices leading to consistent outcomes, and mistakes that get punished without the system stepping in to rescue you.
I hope they talk about Dragon Ball. I hope they talk about if that's your definition, I hope.
Fighting games don't reward decision making anymore. Reward moments. And because of that, people keep pointing to the same place for salvation. Virtual Fighter, the so-called last bastion of honesty, the grand.
Any VF sweats? Confirm, deny? That last part is capped because the system is something that factors in your choices. True. People have surely been saying that since the second fighting game that was released. I have heard stories dating back to Super Turbo of this shit. It's a nonsense game, straightforward and fun to play. Probably here in a lot of guides I make for like the games I play, I always mention like the game is bullshit, so you have to do something you enjoy. You have to do something you enjoy. I like games that are fair, but other people don't like those games because they say it's boring. I don't know if this person will touch on that aspect. I feel like the packaging of this video is that what they're gonna say is that people who don't put time are discouraged by the games being hard, so they put these mechanics in that are annoying to play around, and you have to figure out shit. You have to be really good to beat them, and it dumbs the game down. That's what my assumption of what he's gonna say is. But I don't think people talk enough about what even like the pros, the real fighting game fans want. Like, when I say we, I mean the general fighting community. It's too much like casuals is what brings it down. They baby the game for casuals, where they don't talk enough about people not actually wanting fair games that much.
And I hate to burst your bubble. Virtual Fighter won't save you.
Okay.
Not because it isn't good. Not because Sega forgot how to design systems, but because the world Virtual Fighter was built for doesn't exist anymore. Even Virtual Fighter's modern producer, Seiji Aoki, has described how the franchise started as life-chasing realism, which is why it historically avoided flashy effects. If your game's DNA is simulation first, then every modern design trend that sells games, meters, slow motion, cinematic camera angles, it all starts to feel like contamination and thus betrayal.
That's an interesting way of looking at it if you're comparing it to VF. Because what's funny about a lot of these mechanics, so one, they say this sells games. I'm not actually sure this I never think of it as it sells games. We're gonna let this guy cook still.
He effectively built a religion that one can only think of as honesty. No bailout mechanics, no cinematic excuses, no systems that allow you to skip neutral completely.
Oh my god, fuck, my shit is not plugged in. My shit is not plugged in. I was gonna hit him with the fucking soundboard. I needed it.
Virtual Fighter was perfecting a conversation. The rest of the industry was learning how to shout.
In regards to V-Trigger, mechanics like V-Trigger 2, there is a thought I have about games where like some games you feel what the character does through their moveset, and some games you feel what the character does through their mechanics. So V-Trigger is a great example. It's like you feel what the character's supposed to do through the universal mechanic of V-Trigger that's applied to each character, as opposed to like an accent core of like just kind of the way the moveset of characters are. It informs you how the character is supposed to play.
While competitors chase spectacle and volatility.
Okay. I'm allowed to call myself a competitor, yeah? I don't think I'm chasing a spectacle. I think I'm chasing games that motherfuckers play, brother. I think this is a bad sentence. Man.
And that right there raises the question that purists avoid answering. Did Virtual Fighter stop evolving, or did the market stop rewarding what it had evolved into? Virtual Fighter was built for the arcade economy, and in that era, fair wasn't just philosophy, it was profitable.
Dude, shut up. What? Nah. We gotta watch it again. Put on your glasses. Remember, the arcade rewards honesty. Don't forget, the arcade reward honesty. By the way, this game's at Evo. This game's a main Evo game this year in Japan. And this game has never gotten a patch because it's a real fighting game for real hardcore fighting game players from the arcade, and the game rewards honesty. So for those who don't know, this game has two win cons. It's either you kill them or you kill them by instant killing them. By taking these things up here, these stars up here. If this is empty, you can instant kill them with a super. You either do that or you TOD them. And you doing damage to these stars carries over between rounds also. The Kenshiro can win like now. Like he win right now. Because the opponent has 2 stars. But instead of doing that, he decides to fucking pop off, and he does to punish a DP. So this move is not good technically, but in this situation, it is a funny punish. So what it does is Hokuto Zankai Ken. What this move does is there's a timer. Okay, when this timer goes to 0, Ray dies. It's 3 seconds, but it's 3 Marvel seconds. Okay? So now he's gonna. By the way, this is the type of shit I would do. By the way, if I thought someone sucked, I would use this move to punish the DP. But now, also Kenshiro has full fucking life on top of that. So this is a mountain my man has to climb in order to come back from this. He is Ray. You could TOD with a combo, but the combo is gonna be too long. So instead, he's gonna do as much damage as he can. And he dropped the combo, which was really lucky, and it gets hit by DP. How the fuck does he win this again? Oh, this happens. He gets a little button. He is literally running out of time, but we never give up. And this super does so much damage. It fucking clutches and kills with fucking 0.08 seconds left. And he survives. Everyone's like, hell yeah. What do you think happens in the next round? If you know, don't spoil. I picked an extreme example, but like, bro, what are we fucking waffling about right now, bro?
And in that era, fair wasn't just philosophy, it was profitable. You lose, you understand why, you pay, and you run it back. Then the arcade economy collapsed in the West. By the late 2000s, fighting games moved to the consoles and then into the attention economy, where the currency is now time.
I feel like my man is mixing ideas. Because there's truth in this about general stuff. But I don't feel that way about fighting games. The biggest thing about modern fighting games to me is that they are far more intentionally designed. That's like the main huge in one sentence. The big difference between modern fighting games and classic fighting games. Where older fighting games, they're like just trying shit and it's hard to update and fix stuff. Modern fighting games are designed with a lot of intent. There's a lot of former high level players on this team. And also, if stuff goes wrong, they could patch it. They could literally just be like, hey, we're going to update the game in a couple weeks and take out this shit that we don't want.
High level Virtual Fighter, fuzzy guards, evade cancels, micro spacing. Looks like 2 people twitching and jab checking, but it's pretty dry for most people to watch.
Yes, this was actually a point where I agree with him though. But I don't know. He's waffling about money, where it's about like if they go back to the correct point. A game I really enjoy is MBAC, Multi Blood Akaneza. I actually really like that game. It's one of my favorite fighting games. I don't like current multiplayer that much. In the past, I disliked it more. Now, I kind of just like, whatever. But when it came out, I was like, dude, this game is a fucking... I was like, this game's a concha. What the fuck, man? They went so far. They went so far. Now I'm kind of cool with it being like high power and then like they're doing a bunch, it's like the last version. The concern I feel like is always the version that's fair. People don't want to play. This happened in Melty. This happened at BB. And BB, the extend version, I clearly remember CS extend. Everyone said that shit was boring. I was like, it's finally fine. It's finally not memes. It's not fucking launch Valkenhayn, who is triple S tier. It's not CS2 library characters. It's just the only problem with CS extend is that Arakune is a top tier. That's the only problem. Besides that, it's very, very fair. But people are like, that is fine. All the extra shit he was saying, my homie was waffling a little bit. He was mixing up shit.
3D fighters don't need meters. We don't need explosions. We need a modern game with honest rules. We tested that, and I think that was called Dead or Alive 5.
This guy, do I have any 3D viewers, by the way? I think this video is very 3D coded. And I can't say, the only thing I know about this game is that Sonic likes it a lot. That's it. I remember having a conversation about this game with Sonic, and they're like, this game is fire. That's it.
Mechanically, DOA 5 was strong. It demanded hard decisions, real reads, real consequences.
I gotta let him cook. The voices are coming.
If you think Street Fighter 4 invented comeback mechanics, congratulations. You've been lied to. The idea is actually much older and a lot simpler. And once the genre learned that pain can be turned into spectacle, the business incentives get ugly really fast. Art of Fighting in 1992 introduces desperation attacks.
Okay.
Special moves that can only be available when your health drops low enough. It's just another part of the business. Bloody Raw in 1997 popularizes...
I just don't get why he keeps saying it's part of the business. That's what's like okay. Let's take SF4, because SF4 was famous for this, and people didn't like Ultra. I don't feel like Capcom goes, hey, we have this game, and you can do Ultras. That's the big sell. Okay, this is why, this is my marketing degree fucking bullshit. I worked at advertising for a little bit. Okay. And I stand by this still. We are not going to see a lot of original new fighting games. All the new fighting games we're going to see are either legacy fighting games like Street Fighter 7 or Tekken 9 or Mortal Kombat 2, I guess, if that's how they're going to do it. Or they're going to be IP based, like Avatar, Marvel Tokon, Dragon Ball Fighters, Hunter, Nan Impact, 2X, Invincible. There's so many examples. And the reason is, it's just a lot easier to get someone attached to the IP if it's something they know. Something like a Skullgirls or a Under Night In-Birth. I'm not gonna say that's not gonna happen anymore, but it's gonna be really, really, really rare. Like, okay, let's take BB. I remember watching the BB trailer. And I'm just like, I quite literally remember thinking, what the fuck is this? That was my first thought. And the only reason, there were only two reasons I picked up the game. One was because I thought Street Fighter 4 was boring. People were hyping it up, and I was like, well, maybe BlazBlue will be like anime Street Fighter. And reason number two was because there was a character for me. I played Light G. That's it. It's the only reason why I played. I didn't watch the trailer and go, wow, it's really interesting how there's a barrier system, and you could burst out of combos, and the drive system is so appealing. No, or like, I don't think someone who's disillusioned with modern fighting games looks at like BBCF, right, and goes, damn, overdrive canceling is so sick, and so is barrier throw tech. No, I think they go, oh, the game is fast and this character is cool, and then as they go in, they're like, oh fuck, the game's sick. I don't really know what this fella is doing with how he's describing how they market games, personally.
Street Fighter 4 doesn't invent the comeback mechanic, it industrializes it. And when this titanic shift happens in 2008, the genre revived back from the dead, Street Fighter 4 becomes the modern reference point, and it's essentially hard-coded 2 lessons into the entire industry.
So, okay, here's another theory. Here's another fighting game macro theory. I basically split, even though I really don't want to do this, I think it just makes a lot of sense. I split every era of fighting games by the numbered Street Fighter. So Street Fighter 2 is the beginning, and then there's Street Fighter Alpha, and then there's Street Fighter 3 era, aka the Dark Ages for Capcom people. Then there's Street Fighter 4 era, and then there's Street Fighter 5 era, and now currently we're in Street Fighter 6 era. The fighting games that get released after Street Fighter either add shit that Street Fighter adds, or they go, damn, Street Fighter really fucked up on this, so we should do this. And one of the biggest companies that goes, damn, they really fucked up with this, we should do this, is Arc System Works. Arc System Works, because they constantly release games a couple of years after Street Fighter. So right before Street Fighter 5 comes out, Exert comes out at the end of SF4 era, and that's one of the big reasons people glaze Exert. Because Street Fighter 5 comes out, everyone's mad at SF4, and they're like, what happened to real hardcore games? Look at Exert. But what they got to do with Exert is be like, damn, look at all this shit about Street Fighter. We should do this. So I agree with this. Like, when Street Fighter does something, the genre generally follows. In this era, there were a lot of games with big comeback mechanics. Not all of them, but there were a lot.
In older games, if you whiff a DP, you die.
Get the fuck out of here! You fucking no. We're not gonna say that. Fucking Dimitri exists or Ken Masters from America exists. No. Not DPFRC. No. No. When you get DP'd now, you die. In modern games, in old games, it depends on what the dev felt like. That get the fuck out of my no. Ew.
Let's actually take a look at the numbers. We know that publishers don't greenlight integrity and artistry. They greenlight systems that fund ongoing support.
A huge asterisk on this.
Mortal Kombat is an Empire franchise and over 80+ million sales.
Big three. Sorry. Don't downvote the video when it's posted.
It's over 61 million. Street Fighter is over 56 million. And Virtual Fighter?
Bro, if I sold... Okay, can we have an internet moment real quick? I know this is less. If I sold 5.5 million Runoki t-shirts, I'm wearing one right now. If I sold 5.5 million of these, I'd be very happy. Who the fuck is this character? And what is hype about this? See, this is the thing. For me, you need characters motherfuckers care about. That's the meme. That is the meme. Dural's the boss. The main thing that VF has is that it's legacy. Right? They have legacy. So at least there's a method for them to go. My classic meme is like, it can't be Carl Clover. It has to be Batman. I say that because it's true. I saw this. I was like, who the fuck is this? Why does this have an exclamation point? Like I'm supposed to be excited for bald Cortana. That's what I see. I see bald Cortana. If I worked at a fighting game company, I'd be like, if our roster is ass and no one gives a fuck, we need guest characters really bad. You know what VF needs? A fucking Uma. There you go. If there was an Uma in VF, people would get hype and they would boot up. Bro, they put Lucy and Ranked in Strive, and that was like the biggest day online in Strive, like the biggest like week in online in Strive for like a year and a half. VF is pretty bad at giving the viewer or outsiders a reason to care. Like I play VF and it's fine, it's cool, but watching VF is so boring. It can be mitigated by characters people care about.
Virtual Fighter isn't built like that. You can't sell sexy DLCs if your entire brand is grounded in martial arts realism.
Yes, you can. If not guest character, right? This motherfucker talked about one of these games too. Every fucking 3D fighting game has this character. This guy, Jan Lee. Every 3D fighter I've played has the Bruce Lee guy. They just have him, but his name is never Bruce. It's always like Tekken is it's Law, right? And then DOA has Jan Lee. And I'm pretty sure VF also has a Bruce Lee character, right? If you can't get the guest, you can at least get some inspiration. Jackie is a white guy, but he fights with Jeet Kune Do. I mean, we're all motivated a little bit. But when you watch one or two Bruce Lee movies, you go, damn, that's just sick.
Virtual Fighter isn't failing as game design. It's failing as a modern revenue engine. Many fighting games have had to make that transition from controlled environment testing to a global world rollout. Tekken would famously feel that struggle when for the first time they went from releasing in a controlled environment to now having to release Tekken 8 on a global scale for everyone.
Yes, okay. What he's talking about is how, and to me this is a lightly sour spot, but it just is what it is. Right? Arcades will get to give, not only would arcades get to test the game first, local tests, but they would also have the game first, you know? And since arcade was the main market, basically whenever the home release was announced, it was a sure sign that they were going to update the game in arcades.
The point is, to go global, you often need modern online expectations, modern presentations, but modernization also risks killing your loyal base. And that
this is where people are like, this is Strive.
Is the paradox. To succeed in the modern era, the game must change. If it changes, the loyal fan base revolts. So the safest move is to do nothing. And doing nothing can also get you left behind. Maybe you're still coping. Maybe you think that your game will be the exception. I'm sorry to tell you that it's not. Here's the honesty index, the moment each giant crossed the line. SF4 in 2008 gave you the ultra mechanic. It also introduced FADC to sometimes buy your way out of punishment.
I need to just shut the fuck up, little bro. What are you talking about, bro? Not only is Capcom the same dev that has like fucking Dark Force and shit, but then the fucking DPRC is ancient.
Street Fighter 6 would introduce a Drive Impact, Drive Rush, and as well as other mechanics. Street Fighter 6 turned neutral into a meter economy with drive system.
All I gotta say is I told you so. But
from Mortal Kombat 9 onwards, the franchise became a cinematic product.
This is another thing that I find to be cap, because my NRS friends all told me MK has a huge gap between Mortal Kombat 3 and Mortal Kombat 9. Like all the MK games that came out between those two games, to my understanding from NRS players, are all shit. All shit competitively. And then this game, they're like, this is the first good game. It was all 3D MK. Yes. All the 3D Mortal Kombat.
Armor, huge damage. Tekken 7 introduced rage arts and armor.
He's saying on a presentation. No, but like, listen to him.
I'm sorry to tell you that it's not. Here's the honesty index. The moment...
Here's the honesty. He's talking about like fair mechanics. Because the whole thing is about how Virtual Fighter is fair.
Each giant crossed the line. SF4 into...
And then he's saying each game has a point where they decide to say fuck it and do these modern presentation things. Ultras.
2008 gave you the ultra mechanic.
And then DP FADC smiley face.
It also introduced FADC to sometimes buy your way out of punishment. Street Fighter 6 would introduce a Drive Impact, Drive Rush, and others.
And not talk about fucking V-Trigger.
As well as other mechanics. Street Fighter 6 turned neutral into a meter economy with drive system. Tekken 7 introduced rage arts and armor. Tekken 8 would go full cracked out with heat systems that force complete aggression and extends the offense even when the defense is correct. The point is, every major franchise crossed the river.
So here's another thing. I have definitely noticed that a more modern trend, but I don't think Strive does this, but Tekken does do it, is that there is like a mechanic you have to play around every round. So one of the things I didn't like about Dragon Ball, every game, there are two things you have to deal with every fucking game. One is Spark, and two is Limit Break. Limit Break, depending on the character that's in Limit Break, you can get memed, so you could be winning the whole time and then lose. Limit Break, not a huge deal, like a less of a big deal. Sparking is a massive deal though. What would happen is if something's not punishable and your opponent has a massive advantage on you, and the big thing is you pop it on defense. So it's like, it's not that you get it as a reward for losing. You use it in that situation. You use it in a losing situation, and you gain so much resource from doing stuff in it that you could insta-reverse a bad situation. It is very, 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 very annoying to deal with. And a lot of strategies I've come up to deal with it. If you like Dragon Ball, you'd say I'm a very obnoxious person, but I think the mechanics cap. So the heat system, when I played Tekken 8, the Tekken players are all complaining about it, and I just went, first time, I played multiple fighting games, so I was like, first time, man. And to be honest, other like current Blaze Blue, like you gotta fight like defensive OD. I just feel like they're not really making it a point because they keep trying to say it's like about business, and that's how they're attracting people. But I just don't see them market. I don't think they market it like that. I just think a lot of the marketing is like, look, this is cool. Look, this is a character that you knew when you were a kid, or this is a character that you know from something else. And that's all the main marketing. And if someone is slightly more interested, then you show them the mechanics, and maybe that gets them to cross the line. But I basically have barely sold games to people based on the mechanics. I just basically go, the game is cool, or you would like this character. I feel like that's the main way everything's done.
Virtual Fighter is the one still standing on the old side, and that's why it's alone. Sega has confirmed a new Virtual Fighter project in development, Road A. They could go the traditional VF route, have it play like VF5 with modern graphics, and it sells to the hardcore fans, and it might win some awards for balance. And sadly, it dies fast because it doesn't generate enough long-term revenue, and the casuals will eventually bounce. It will become a boutique product. Road B is to join the modernization arms race. They'll add a modern system state, they'll add supers, they'll probably sell a lot of passes, and there's a high probability of adding DLC
because it's so half and half. Because it is so likely the game has a season pass, right? But what do they sell the season pass on? They sell the season pass on characters. I don't get why you keep going on the shit about mechanics. The season 4 Guilty Gear pass is sold on Dizzy and Lucy. Let's just be for real. It's the old hot girl that everyone liked, and then the hot girl from another anime. Yes? And then Venom. Venom like Loki, but only sweats like Venom. Guilty Gear Season 3 pass is sold on, these are old characters that everyone loves. All the fellas love Johnny. All the fucking waifu lords love Elfelt. All the fucking super rager guys are fucking like Abba. And all the fucking cool guys love Seylor. They got all classic characters that people like. The objectively best-selling fighting game of all time is literally play as your... I don't think they're ready to hear that though. You think they're talking about VF and they're gonna say Smash is a fighting game?
And there's a high probability of adding DLC characters like Kiryu Kazuma as guest characters.
Yes, do it. Is that a... That's not a bad idea. WDLC, don't put him in. They should do this. He just say probably because it's smarter. I'm like, no, you should do it.
They're also running the official Virtual Fighter Open Championship with regional qualifiers and a $100,000 grand prize. This is the cost of survival in the modern era. Stay pure and get ignored, or modernize and stop being Virtual Fighter. Because for Virtual Fighter to gain the world, it must lose its soul.
This video's ass, bro. Bro, you never told me why skill wasn't rewarded. You just told me some bullshit for 15 minutes. I think there was interesting stuff to talk about, so hopefully you guys enjoyed watching it with me. But I want to say that videos like this is why my second channel exists in the first place. Because every now and then, I see something on my YouTube homepage, and I see the title, and my face, I go, I go like this.